Forms. There is a saying, her silence is never empty, it's full of answers. When it comes to understanding women, forms, most people listen to their words but miss their language, the language their body speaks. And that is where the truth hides. Forms. Every gesture a woman makes is a form of communication. When she tucks her hair behind her ear, forms. It's not always vanity. It can be a sign of nervous attraction or a subconscious attempt to appear more open. When she crosses her legs towards someone, forms, her body is signaling comfort and focus. But when her feet point toward the door, her mind has already left the room. Forms. The most shocking truth is that a woman's body rarely lies. Where words can be polite, restrained, or conditioned by society, her body language is instinctive. Forms. It's emotional honesty in physical form. Forms. Science has shown that women possess a higher level of emotional intelligence and mirror neurons, brain cells that help them sense and reflect other people's emotions. Forms. That's why women can often feel tension before it's spoken. When a woman tilts her head while listening, forms, it's not just a sign of politeness, it's empathy. It means she's emotionally absorbing what you say, not just processing words. Form. Let's talk about the eyes. Eye contact is one of the most powerful tools women use, not only to express attraction but also authority. Forms. A woman can dominate a space silently, simply through sustained, confident eye contact. Yet, when she feels threatened or uninterested, forms, her gaze will flicker away instantly. It's not shyness, it's protection. Then comes distance, personal space. When a woman lets someone come close, forms, she's subconsciously communicating trust. But when she maintains distance, forms, her body is protecting her boundaries long before her mouth says no. That's why reading her space is not about control, it's about respect. Forms. Many men and even women misunderstand the role of body posture. A confident woman doesn't need to speak loudly. Her shoulders are back, her spine straight, forms, her chin level. She occupies space without apology. A woman who feels emotionally unsafe, however, will unconsciously shrink, shoulders forward, arms folded, forms, legs crossed tightly, the body forming a shield for the mind. And yet, here's another shock, forms. Women are just as skilled at concealing body language as they are at showing it. Years of social conditioning teach them to smile when they're uncomfortable, forms, to nod when they disagree, to appear calm when they're breaking inside. Forms. This duality, expression and suppression, is what makes reading female body language so fascinating and complex. But remember, forms. Behind every gesture lies context. A smile could mean comfort or survival. A touch could mean affection or manipulation. Forms. Only by understanding emotional context can we interpret body language accurately. Ultimately, forms. The true beauty of female psychology lies in authentic expression, the ability to feel deeply and communicate that depth without always using words. Forms. A woman's body is her emotional language, honest, intuitive, and profoundly human. Forms. The language of silence is one of the most powerful forms of communication women possess, yet it's also the most misunderstood. When a woman chooses silence, forms, it isn't because she has nothing to say, it's because her body has already started speaking in a language far more expressive than words. Forms. The small changes in her posture, the way she moves her hands, her eyes, forms her breathing. All of it forms a silent dialogue that reveals what she's truly feeling inside. Forms. People often underestimate how much can be understood when you learn to listen, not with your ears, but with your eyes and emotional awareness. Forms. A woman's silence is not emptiness, it's filled with emotional information, waiting to be interpreted. From a psychological perspective, forms. Women are naturally more attuned to nonverbal expression. Their brains are wired with a higher emotional sensitivity, allowing them to pick up subtle social cues. Forms. But this sensitivity doesn't just work one way. It also shows in how they express themselves. When a woman feels comfortable, her body opens up naturally. Forms. She relaxes her shoulders, her tone softens, her gestures flow effortlessly. But when she feels discomfort, insecurity, or distrust, forms. The change is immediate and visible. Her body tightens. Her arms may cross, her eyes might shift away, and her tone may become more controlled. Forms. Her silence in that moment is not avoidance. It's protection. Forms. It's her subconscious guarding her emotional space until she feels safe enough to express herself openly again. Think of it this way. Forms. The human body is an emotional instrument, and women play it with deep intuition. When she feels loved, her body moves in rhythm with warmth, forms. Her expressions become softer, her presence more magnetic. But when she feels unheard or disrespected, she withdraws into stillness, forms. That stillness isn't weakness, it's reflection. It's the body saying what the mouth refuses to articulate, forms. Many people mistake that stillness for disinterest, but in reality, forms. It's often a sign of emotional depth. She's feeling too much to risk saying something she doesn't mean, forms. This silent communication begins very early in a woman's life. As girls, forms, they are often taught to be polite, graceful, and composed. Society conditions them to express emotions subtly rather than directly. Over time, forms, they develop the ability to communicate entire sentences through a single glance, a small gesture, or a shift in energy. When a girl grows into a woman, forms, her body becomes her emotional vocabulary. She may not always say, "I'm hurt," but her posture will say it. She may not admit, forms, "I'm interested," but her eyes will linger just a second longer. It's a quiet form of honesty that can't be rehearsed, forms. There's also a powerful spiritual layer to this silence. In moments of deep emotion, whether love, sadness, forms, confusion, a woman often goes inward rather than outward. She processes internally, not because she is detached, forms, but because she is deeply connected to her inner world. Her silence becomes a space where she organizes feelings, reflects on meaning, forms, and restores emotional balance. If you observe closely, you'll notice that when a woman becomes silent, her energy changes. It becomes more contained, forms, more thoughtful, sometimes even protective. She may withdraw slightly, her face calm, but her eyes full of thought. In that stillness, forms, she's processing everything: your words, your tone, your actions, your energy. The irony is that many people misinterpret this silence, forms. They think she's being distant, stubborn, or cold, but in truth, she's often communicating something very important, forms. "I'm thinking," or "I'm not ready to speak yet," or "I'm protecting myself." The silence is a boundary, a way to create emotional safety when words could cause misunderstanding, forms. Understanding this requires emotional maturity. It means respecting her pause instead of rushing to fill it, forms. It means recognizing that her silence can sometimes carry more honesty than her spoken sentences. In relationships, this becomes especially visible, forms. When a woman stops arguing, it doesn't always mean she's okay. Sometimes it means she's emotionally exhausted, forms. Her silence becomes the loudest sign that her feelings have gone unheard for too long. On the other hand, when a woman sits silently next to someone she trusts, forms, that same silence means peace. It means she feels safe enough to exist without having to explain herself. The difference between those two silences is vast, forms, but it's noticeable to those who pay attention. Body language and silence also intertwine during emotional attraction. When a woman likes someone, forms, her body subconsciously seeks alignment. She may mirror gestures, lean slightly forward, or make eye contact for longer periods, forms. But she won't say it directly, not because she's playing games, but because her communication is subtle by nature. She lets her presence speak, forms. Her energy becomes an unspoken invitation. The silence here is magnetic. It draws attention without demanding it. It's the body's way of saying, forms, "I'm interested, but I trust you to see it." True understanding of the silent language of women requires patience and empathy, forms. It's about reading the emotional energy behind every still moment. It's about observing how her silence changes in different situations. When she's sad, forms. When she's thoughtful, when she's happy, and when she's detached. Her silence is a spectrum of meaning, not an absence of it, forms. The more emotionally aware you are, the more you realize that women don't stop communicating when they go quiet. They communicate even louder, forms. So when a woman is silent, don't rush her. Don't assume she has nothing to say. Look at her posture, her eyes, her expression. Feel the energy she gives off, forms. In that silence lies truth, truth about her feelings, her boundaries, her pain, and her peace, forms. Understanding that truth is the beginning of real emotional intelligence, because silence, especially a woman's silence, forms, isn't the end of a conversation. It's the beginning of one that happens with